You're not lazy. That's the lie you keep telling yourself because it's easier than facing the truth. You sit there, staring at your phone, scrolling without thinking, promising yourself just 5 more minutes, and somehow hours disappear. You feel that quiet guilt in your chest, that pressure, that voice whispering, you should be doing more, you should be better than this. But you don't move. Not because you can't, because something inside you is stuck, and it's deeper than motivation. You've tried to fix it, haven't you? You've watched the videos, read the advice, made the plans. You've told yourself, tomorrow will be different. You felt that temporary burst of energy, that moment where everything makes sense, and then it fades. Every time. So now you're left wondering what's wrong with you. Why can't you stay consistent? Why does everything feel so heavy when it should be simple? Why do you keep sabotaging yourself, even when you know exactly what you're supposed to do? Here's the truth you don't hear enough. You're not broken. You're overwhelmed. Your mind is overloaded with expectations, comparisons, and silent pressure. Every time you open your phone, you're reminded of who you're not. Every scroll becomes a quiet comparison. Someone is ahead. Someone is doing more. Someone is living the life you feel like you're falling behind in. And your brain, it doesn't process that as inspiration. It processes it as threat. So instead of acting, you freeze. Instead of starting, you escape. Because deep down, starting means facing the possibility that you might fail, that you might not be as good as you hoped, that the version of yourself you imagine might not be real yet. And that thought, it terrifies you more than staying stuck. So you overthink. You plan everything perfectly in your head, because in your head, nothing can go wrong. In your head, you're in control. But reality doesn't offer that guarantee. Reality is messy, unpredictable, imperfect. So you wait. You wait for the right moment, the right mood, the right version of yourself to finally show up. But that version of you isn't coming like that. Because discipline isn't something you suddenly feel. It's something you build when you don't feel like it. And that's the part no one tells you. You think motivated people wake up ready, focused, and driven every day. But they don't. They wake up tired, distracted, uncertain. The difference is they move anyway. And right now, you've trained yourself to do the opposite. You've trained yourself to listen to every excuse, every doubt, every emotional fluctuation. If you don't feel like doing something, you don't do it. If it feels uncomfortable, you avoid it. If it feels hard, you delay it. So your brain learns something very dangerous, that feelings control your actions. And now, every time discomfort shows up, you stop. You call it procrastination, but it's really self-protection. Because your brain thinks it's keeping you safe, safe from failure, safe from judgment, safe from realizing that growth is uncomfortable. But here's the problem. That safety is slowly destroying you. Every day you stay in that cycle, a part of you gets quieter. That voice that once pushed you, that believed in something bigger, it starts to fade. Not because it's gone, but because you've stopped listening to it. And now you feel stuck, not because you lack potential, but because you've stopped trusting yourself. You say you'll do something, and you don't. You promise change, and nothing changes. So your mind starts to doubt you. And once you lose trust in yourself, everything becomes harder. Even the simplest things feel heavy. Getting up early, staying consistent, finishing what you started. It all feels like a battle. Because deep down, you don't believe you'll follow through anyway. And that belief, it's what's really holding you back. Not your circumstances, not your abilities, not your past. It's the quiet, growing certainty that you can't rely on yourself anymore. And that's the part that hurts the most, isn't it? But here's what you haven't realized yet. That feeling, that frustration, that guilt, that constant inner tension, it's not weakness, it's awareness. It's the part of you that refuses to settle, even when everything around you is pulling you toward comfort. It's the signal that something inside you still wants more, still believes you're capable of more. Because if you truly didn't care, you wouldn't feel this conflict. You wouldn't feel this pressure. You wouldn't feel anything at all. So the fact that you're still here, still thinking, still questioning, still searching, means you're not done, not even close. But you've been approaching this the wrong way. You've been waiting to feel ready before you act, and that's why you're stuck. Because readiness is an illusion. Clarity doesn't come before action, it comes from action. Confidence doesn't come before you start, it comes because you started. Right now, you're trying to think your way into a new life, but your life doesn't change when you think differently. It changes when you behave differently, even in the smallest ways. And this is where everything shifts. You don't need a complete reset. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need to suddenly become a completely different person overnight. You need one thing: proof. Proof that you can trust yourself again. And that proof doesn't come from big promises. It comes from small, uncomfortable, consistent actions. It's choosing to do the thing, especially when you don't feel like it. It's getting up when your mind says stay. It's starting when your thoughts say wait. It's continuing when everything inside you says stop. Because every time you do that, you send a message to your brain: I don't quit on myself anymore. And at first, it's going to feel forced, awkward, even pointless. You'll question if it's working. You'll doubt if it matters. You'll feel like you're not doing enough. Do it anyway. Because this isn't about intensity. It's about identity. Right now, you see yourself as someone who struggles, who delays, who overthinks. And as long as that identity stays the same, your actions will keep matching it. So you don't need to force motivation. You need to rebuild who you believe you are, one action at a time. Every small promise you keep, every moment you push through resistance, every time you choose discipline over comfort, you become someone new. Not instantly, but undeniably. And slowly, something powerful starts to happen. That voice in your head, the one that used to doubt you, it starts to change. It gets quieter, not because it disappeared, but because you've given it evidence that it's wrong. You start trusting yourself again. And when that happens, everything changes. Decisions get easier. Discipline feels natural. Consistency stops feeling like a fight and starts feeling like who you are. But you have to understand this. No one is coming to save you. No sudden wave of motivation is going to transform your life overnight. No perfect moment is waiting for you to begin. This is it. This moment, right here, where you're tired, uncertain, maybe even a little lost. This is where it starts. Not when you feel ready, not when everything is perfect. Now, because the longer you wait, the stronger that cycle becomes, and the harder it gets to break. But the second you decide, really decide, that you're done negotiating with your excuses, that's the moment you take your power back. So don't overthink this. Don't plan another perfect routine you won't follow. Don't wait for a version of you that doesn't exist yet. Just move. Do something small, something real, something that proves to you that you're still in control. Because you are. You've just forgotten. And the only way to remember is to act.